Have you ever felt trapped in a never-ending cycle? That feeling of going through life on autopilot, never truly being in the moment, and then realizing that time has passed and you haven't done anything meaningful? What are you doing with your life? This is a feeling that's increasingly common today, but it shouldn't be that way. We're surrounded by sources of instant pleasure. Our phones, food, social media, games. So many things that seem to offer quick relief, a burst of instant joy. But what really happens when we fall into this cycle? Have you noticed that the more you chase these sources of pleasure, the less they satisfy you? This phenomenon is called diminishing marginal utility. What it means is that as you repeat an action, it loses its ability to satisfy you. You start with a slice of pizza and feel great, but as you eat more, the satisfaction decreases. This effect reflects how our brains respond to the relentless pursuit of pleasure. Over time, you need more stimulation to achieve the same level of satisfaction. It happens whether you're chasing satisfaction with food, scrolling through Instagram, binge-watching another episode of that endless series, or even with something heavier. The mechanism is the same. On top of diminishing returns, there's another factor that makes our relationship with pleasure even more complicated: tolerance. Over time, your brain gets used to the amount of pleasure you're consuming, and you begin to need more to feel the same effect. If you're addicted to watching YouTube videos, for example, there'll come a point when regular videos no longer satisfy you. You'll start looking for more extreme, more exciting content to try to recreate that peak pleasure you felt the first time. The same goes for any addiction. The problem is, instead of finding satisfaction, you become enslaved to these behaviors. Now you might be thinking, all right, I get the problem, but how do I break free from this trap? The solution may seem difficult, but it's simpler than you think. The first step is stop. That's right, stop seeking instant gratification. Take a pause. What you need is a mental detox, a fast from pleasure. A month without giving in to these addictions. It may seem radical, but it's one of the most effective ways to reset your brain and regain control of your life. Of course, this isn't easy. In the first few days, you'll miss the instant gratification. You'll feel anxious, frustrated, maybe even empty. But remember, this discomfort is temporary, and it's a necessary price to break free from the vicious cycle. Now that you know you need to take this step, let's talk about how to do it practically. There's a simple plan that can help you get through this month of abstinence. It's based on 4 key components. First, identify your triggers. What situations, people, or emotions make you seek instant pleasure? When you feel bored, anxious, or frustrated, what's your first reaction? If you know your triggers, you can avoid or change those patterns. Second, optimize your environment. If your surroundings are full of temptations, it's much harder to resist. Keep out of sight what leads you to compulsive behaviors. Don't keep your phone within reach. Avoid places or situations that tempt you. Just make it harder for temptations to be accessible. Third, find an alternative. It's not enough to just stop. You need to replace the addictive behavior with something that satisfies your needs, but in a healthy way. Instead of spending hours on social media, maybe you can start a hobby, read a book, or even go for a walk. The key is that it's something that's genuinely good for you, not something that'll trap you in another addictive cycle. Finally, do something hard every day. This might seem counterintuitive, but it's important. When you challenge yourself to do something difficult, whether it's studying, practicing a sport, or finishing a task you've been putting off, you get a huge sense of accomplishment at the end. That feeling of job well done is a far more lasting pleasure than any instant gratification. So why does this abstinence work? The answer lies in the concept of neuroplasticity. Our brain is capable of changing and adapting. When you give in to your addictions, you're creating neural connections that make these behaviors easier to repeat. When you stop, these connections begin to weaken and it becomes easier to resist impulses. Over time, you'll notice that simple activities like cooking a homemade meal or watching a sunset become pleasurable again. Real pleasure, the kind that really matters, becomes more intense, while impulses for destructive behaviors begin to fade. The good news is that you don't have to live at the mercy of your temptations. You can take back control of your life. The path might be tough at first, but it's worth it. Through abstinence and a clear plan, you can finally break free and create the life you really want. Remember, you're not giving up pleasure, you're just making space for a more authentic, lasting pleasure. It's time to stop wasting your life. The control is in your hands. Are you ready to take this journey with us?